There's something about it.
All this fame and all this money, I could learn to like this game. Just show me the money. Ha! They say I'd be long gone, but that day never came. Cause on every street corner, y'all finna know my name.
Can't hold us back. We can do what we want when the lights come up and the music plays. Can't hold us back. You can say what you like, but we won't let nothing stand in our window. Flying high above the clouds, we're gonna live forever. Ain't nobody can stop us now. We're gonna live forever. We're gonna live forever. We're gonna live forever.
To the many who come here and try to top me, be my guest, try to stop me. C-R-A-C-Y, that's you, just the facts. I'll bust your rhyme dead in its tracks. You must be a fantasy islander, cause I'll take you down just like Highlander. I'm right now, your ancient history. I'll live forever, ain't no mystery.
Flying high above the clouds, we're gonna live forever. Ain't nobody can stop us now. We're gonna live forever. Hey, we're gonna live forever.
There's something about games.
What you doing there gives you real chills.
There is one thing that can't be stopped.
Feelings. And if you can feel it,
It must be real, right?
that's
real magic.
Welcome back to Icons 2022. I'm joined by the victorious mid laner from RRQ. It's Helios. Congratulations on the win. I kind of want to get your thoughts. That was the first time we got to see Sengoku Gaming. How did you feel like that series went for you?
The game isn't easy for us, but we managed to defeat them. Yeah.
Are you sure it wasn't easy? Because you were dancing a lot during the breaks. What were the dance moves during the breaks?
It's my ritual.
Who is the best beatboxer in the team? Because we saw some beatboxing as well.
Me, I'm the beatboxer in RRQ.
You like to box the beat? Sorry, that was bad. That was a bad one. All right, next up, I wanted to ask. They gave you Zed in game number 1. That's your one trick. What did you think when you got the Zed?
My mind is when I play Zed, my mind is only for split pushing. So I split pushed them and we won.
Yeah, 0 kills for
Zero
the
kills.
longest time.
Yeah.
That was okay though?
That's okay.
And then last question. Now that you won, who do you want to play, J-Team or Team Queso in your group?
We want to play J team because we want Chinese. We want Chinese team to defeat them.
Oh, okay. I lied. That wasn't the last question. This is the last question. Any messages to someone special, huh? Just asking.
Hi Riku.
All right, there it is. Hi, Riku. Let's send it back to Mika and the boys on the desk.
I love this. I know. I love this. You gotta love those guys. I mean, I've never been so entertained during a tech pause. That's for sure. And I've never been so entertained.
Almost more entertained during the pause than during the actual game.
I know.
I forgot we were here for Wild Rift for a second. Yeah? I thought it was like a
Exactly.
music concert.
Well, we are here for Wild Rift, and now we are here for Team Queso versus J-Team. And this is the first time we're seeing the #1 team from EMEA. I'm so lucky that I have you guys here on desk with me because I can just basically throw it to you, Hells, and you guys know all about Team Queso.
And, you know, they haven't played yet, but I'm going to say it here. Team Queso has the star of the tournament, which is Andres Zed. Like, unrivaled in Europe. This guy has not even been pushed to the edge in Europe. And now we're going to see him face up against all of the other teams in this tournament. And I'm just so excited to see him play against all of the other junglers. Like, that's going to be where my eyes are going to be on, for sure.
And why exactly? Why do you think he's gonna stand out?
Have you watched him?
Yeah, I haven't watched him actually. I'm about to watch him right now. Let me know.
Grab yourself some popcorn, because this guy's gonna steal
right.
any objective. This guy's gonna invade anyone. This guy's gonna be ganking everyone. This guy's gonna be taking every single thing, everything. Everything is gonna be around Andres Zed.
I love it.
Everything.
I love it. I think you guys have been hyping him up like to me like for a long while. I am so glad that I'm gonna see him play first here on the stage. But Stuart, all of the other members of Team Queso as well. I mean, like, you know, of course, coming from team coming from the Horizon Cup, I am so excited to see what form they've taken now here at Icons.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they've had a few changes since Horizon Cup as well. They've changed their bot lane. They've also changed their mid lane as well, which is where my focus is. Veos in the mid lane. I feel like when this man is on an assassin, he can be that secondary carry. You know, as Hell said, Andres Zed is the main carry of this roster. But Veos, if he can play these assassins, especially the Akali as well, if he can get his hands on a carry champion, this guy can do it all.
And the beauty of Vegas is as well, like Stuart mentions assassins, he can also play the Singed. He can also play the Lulu mid. He can also play he can play everything.
Yep.
So very flexible player, and just incredible on every single role that he has to take on. And yeah, not only assassins, everything really on Vegas as well.
The big challenge for Team Queso is, though, they will be up against J-Team. And of course, we know that the WRL teams are very scary opponents. And of course, they are seeded 4th in China. They did take down Avivo Kid and T1 2-0 to get here. They haven't lost a game just yet. Is this going to be their first? I think it's a tall order, Stuart.
It's a tough one. I think the J team, you know, coming out from players, like you said, hasn't lost a game, always had the goal lead as well. But the main thing for J team is to try and shut down Andre. You know, they've shut down the members from the other teams that they've played already, but now they've got a bigger task. They've got the #1 seed from Europe now, and one of the best junglers coming into the tournament as well. If they can shut down Andre, if they can take control of the map against Team Queso, I feel like J team can come out on top.
And if there is a single team in this tournament that can do that, I would say it is J-Team. Because every single game they played, they were just ahead by thousands of gold early on in the game, even if there hasn't been a single kill. So if there is a single team that can do it, it's going to be J-Team. They can shut Andre down.
Yep.
I'm eager to see if that does indeed happen, especially since we do hold the WRL teams to a higher regard here. And with that, we're going to jump right into our predictions. I don't think do I need to ask? do I need to ask which team you guys are?
Don't ask.
I think it's pretty obvious.
Okay, so I'm going to
I want to know your prediction, actually. I'm curious what your prediction is.
I think I'm going to be the villain here.
Oh, no,
this,
Mika,
yes.
please.
I have to say it. I mean, like, with what we saw from J-Team in the play-ins, I feel like this is going to J-Team right now. But I think it's a given. I'm sorry to disappoint you guys.
Don't worry, we'll be partying at the end of this match while you'll be sitting in the corner.
We'll be together.
Don't you worry.
I would love, I actually would love for, you know, my prediction to be proven wrong. And we were actually talking to Queso before a little bit, and we noticed that you guys are very close indeed with them. Let's take a look at this clip over here. Look good. Oh, please, I love you. I love you.
Oh yeah, it's great to meet them again, of course, right? Like, we met them during the EMA Championship, and a lot of them we've talked with a lot. You can see, right? We all love each other, and you know, this is not just European teams. This is not just our region. A lot of these people are our friends as well, and I know Stu as well. Very good friends with Vegas as well, right?
Yeah, with Veos, you know, Joey and everyone as well. You know, everyone in this Team Queso roster as well. You know, we play with them online. We've met them before in Barcelona at the WRC finals. So me and Hells are here to support them as well. We're like the fans, you know, the EMEA fans here, trying to support our teams.
And I just want to point out that Digon was just in that shot, and the light from the Coca-Cola fridge was just bouncing on him. He was just like there and occupied like 1/2 of that entire clip. I just don't want to point that out. But right now, we are turning our attention back to Team Queso and J-Team for our 3rd series of the day. Rafa, Riku, nice to see you guys.
Let's go,
up?
Queso!
Yeah.
Hey, so I wanted to point something out here.
What's up?
Mika got the memo, Riku. We were
I
wearing
know!
pink. But
I
Stuart
know!
and Hells, where's the pink, bro?
Digon too, don't forget.
Oh, yeah, even Digon had the nice pink drip. Yeah, guys. Hells and Stuart, and next time, let's sync up on the color game here.
We should.
In fact, we got J-Team colors, actually,
Oh,
unironically.
yeah.
It was not planned, I promise. There's no bias. I'm just here for the best Wild Rift experience and the best Wild Rift gameplay. And if it happens to be J-Team, it happens to be J-Team. But the same and the opposite for Team Queso. And I think Hells and Stewart brought up a really good point. One of the signature things about the lone European seed is that it is all about Andres. If you get this guy ahead, he is one of the best Western junglers, maybe a contention for one of the best junglers in the world.
Exactly, right? There's a lot of hype going around for Andres. When we look at Team Queso's performance in the WREC, we've seen configurations for team comps, right? We talked about this before the cast, Rafa.
Quadra support.
Plus
Andres.
Yeah, like him being that soul carry. So I'm not going to be surprised if we're going to be seeing a Jax, a Kha'Zix surrounded by a Lulu, a Morgana, perhaps, and as well as a Galio. All of these tanks, all of these enchanters to make sure that Andres gets the right setup for the fights.
Yeah, talking through some of the most contested picks for both of these junglers in Cherry on one side and Andres on the other. For Andres, I'm looking, you already mentioned a couple of them, the Kha'Zix, the Jax.
Yep.
I think the Riven is another big one. If you, for any European fans watching this broadcast, they know, they watched that finals matchup between them and Rix. 2 matches where Rix were super far ahead and it was Andres on the Riven, coming over, stealing the Elder Dragon, clinching wins, and allowing Team Queso to push forward and take that #1 seed, the grand final prize. And now they are here representing as Europe's only seed here in Icons.
That's tough, right? There's a lot of pressure for Team Queso, and especially they're going up against J-Team, which the analyst desk has mentioned that they're still going at this from the play-ins up until now undefeated, so they're riding that high, they're riding that momentum, and so far still no weakness as of this moment.
Yeah, I just wanted to further that point. You said no weakness. It is further reasoned by the fact that they have not dropped a single game, let alone a series. They are, I mean, just let me do the math here, 4-0.
Yeah.
They cleaned out Vivo Kid, and then they cleaned out T1 like it was nothing, like just another day in the office. And the big question that we had for J-Team coming in at the beginning of the tournament during the play-in stage was, well, J-Team is only the 5th seed.
Yeah.
Does the power diminish from this fabled region of WRL, this super legendary, highly regarded region? And it's the answer is no. The power does not diminish anywhere.
It doesn't.
And I think that's so huge for this squad because J-Team wants to prove that, hey, it's not a fluke that we're coming in here on behalf of OMG. We deserve to be here as much as any other team.
Oh yeah, absolutely, right? And it just shows how powerful the WRL is, and I feel like all of these all of these teams from that region basically have this definitive style of having a strong and fast early game, which a lot of the teams, when we look back at play-ins, had a difficult time trying to match. So now would that answer be still Team Queso trying to maneuver around the early game, or are we still going for their style of having to make sure that Andres gets that farm and then gets these fights?
We'll see if both of these teams are capable of switching up the style like the beat just switched up on us as we head into the draft phase for Game 1 between Team Queso and J-Team.
So what are the most important things? Of course, there's a lot of importance on enchanters, right? So I am solidly saying that the Yuumi, we're not going to be seeing the Yuumi, and as well as the Karma. Both of these teams are going to utilize that so well, especially the fact that J-Team also likes to fight.
Yeah, catching up with Stuart right before this matchup, one of the things that he stressed about, the miraculous thing about Team Queso going into the playoffs, if you did not ban out Yuumi, Karma, Lulu, every single game, that meant Andres was guaranteed to have an additional stat stick buff for himself on a carry jungler of any of his choosing. Because you cannot ban out enough junglers. This guy will still find something, like you take away Kha'Zix, you take away Lee Sin, you take away Jax, Riven. He could still pull down into his deep pocket and find, oh, dude, I play Graves.
Exactly.
What are you going to do about it? I play Camille, I play Fior. Like, this guy plays everything.
That's why it's so smart that you just remove the Yuumi, the Lulu, and the Karma, right? We were talking about this and the fact that you just remove the pillars that makes up how Andres becomes such a strong monster.
Well, J-Team, they didn't clearly get the memo. They banned the Karma out, but it's the Shen and the Singed are far more priority. Now, throughout this tournament, we have seen teams be able to let the Yuumi go through and actually beat them even with the Yuumi on them. So it's not unbeatable. It is not a game over state if that champion goes through. And Team Queso recognize that too. They're not just immediately blind picking the Yuumi. They're going to take something like the Jace instead.
Exactly right. When we look back at the grand finals up against Rix as well, when they picked a composition that surrounded Andres, it was Rix that is able to target him fully, and that's how they won that game. So now, as you mentioned, Jace being picked up, a lot of mystery still, as you can still put that on Vejos and Acolyte.
Giving a quick narrative point over to Acolyte alongside Andres. These are the two returning members, not only for Team Queso from their Horizon Cup ventures. Last time around, they are in the second group alongside teams like Team Secret and Thunder Talk Gaming, and they definitely had their fair share of very difficult matchups. Something that I want to track for these two players across this group stage is how well they have developed since the last international tournament.
Yeah, honestly though, looking at the draft right now, J-Team is starting strong with Elysian and the Riven. I'm looking at strong top and jungle, which is again the WRL special. This is no mystery. But going over, Varus, instead they're going for the Ziggs, which is still fine because if you have wave clear, that means Metanaut can roam around the map.
And I know you've been a big fan of the Ziggs throughout this entire tournament.
Yeah.
Between that and Varus, these two champions have such easy priority to clear out the wave instantly, which gives your support time to go roam and influence the rest of the map, and you're relatively safe under the safety of your own tower. Or if they're gonna dive you, it's like, okay, I'm just gonna back up. I'm sorry, this is no longer my zone here, but it's okay. I still got long enough range that I can clear the wave safely and I can keep myself relevant in the game.
Exactly, and I like this response from J-Team because that means they're not going to pick up the Varus. They're going to pick up the Senna, one of the strongest and most stable bot lane so far in the entire Icons tournament, because you have Sustain. Whoever's going to be your threat carry on J-Team, you have heals, you have a lot of shielding, so I like this pick from J-Team.
It's something that we have come to characterize so much about J-Team is specifically the lethality of Barry and DY as a level 1 bot lane. DY consistently has threatened all-ins right from the get-go, and if teams are not prepared for it, either they lose out on summoner trades or they even just drop a kill.
Exactly, so if DY picks up a set, he is not afraid to level 1 you on a Ziggs lane. He's not afraid to level 2 you and burn a flash, just as you said, or even kill you. So I feel like if the set is open, the Gragas is open, those are the two best picks that DY can use paired with a Senna lane to make it extra aggressive.
Yeah, you can't even sleep on the Galio either, just a sponge flash. Oh my goodness. And now J-Team, they seem to have the pick of the litter. Team Queso were far more preoccupied with some of the mid lane options for Pan, and there, you called it, Gragas.
I think this is really good because you need disengage in case Team Queso has only one in, which is so far the Thresh. I feel like if that's the only engage that they have, they're going to have a little bit of difficulty trying to hold down targets because they need additional CC. Because look at J-Team's composition. They're all very maneuvery, slippery rather. That's not a word.
No, you got there in the end. High mobility, right?
Yeah, oh!
So with this Varus lock-in, that means Vejos will be the one piloting the Ziggs. J-Team, I imagine that with assassins like the Zed gone, the Akali gone, Team Queso and Vejos in particular feels safe enough that he can take something like a Ziggs into the mid lane, because normally it used to be super powerful in year 1. Whoa!
Single target damage, baby. This is basically it. Just basically a teeny tiny AoE on the side of Ziggs.
And this is really interesting from Andres because the thing about Vi is you can build damage on a Vi, but she's not necessarily known as a hyper carry jungler. She's not a Jax or a Fiora that scales and tries to 1v9 fights. She is a utility-based jungler. She has one specific goal: find the key target for J-Team, lock him down with that with the ultimate ability, and then you're just giving your life for the cause so the rest of Team Queso can follow up. This flexibility from Andres shows that Team Queso are willing to put the trust in the other members of the team.
Yeah, the dynamic's gonna be, they're gonna rely heavily on Joey and Vejos, and especially Acolyte and the Jace. We know once a Jace gets ahead, it's so hard. Picking up the Hull Breaker, gonna side lane, gonna get turret plates, and gonna hurt even more. So this is a triple threat poke composition. But the math is, though, is you don't have disengage. The reason why poke comps work is that you can avoid the all-in. I'm a little bit worried here for Team Queso.
You are only relying on tools like the box from the Thresh, the minefield from Ziggs, and maybe a chain of corruptions.
Yeah.
That's it. You don't have strong get away from me tools, right? You don't have the Gragas for the disengage. That's on the other side of the team. And the big thing that now we are looking at this draft, it's all about the top side, at least when it comes to the early game.
Yeah. And it's going to be a very scary duel, right? We're looking at Andres and Acolyte as well, having to basically defend or go onto the offensive of the WRL special, because we know that Lee Sin, Cherry's just going to get that early game for that Riven.
Yeah, the last time Andres and Acolyte had their fair share of going up against a powerful duo from the WRL in the jungle and Baron side of the map, it was Thunder Talk Gaming.
Oh, yeah.
Fabai and I want to say it was either Once or Chris. It's so long ago, but they're no strangers to having to face some of the most powerful opponents in the world. Now it's up to them to see if they've developed and they've grown from that point on. And Acolyte, we know that this person can pop off. If you remember back at Horizon Cup on picks like the Darius, getting the 1v2, one of the most infamous clips back from Horizon Cup last year.
And I feel like it's going to be highly possible, right? With Andres now being on a utility-focused champion, like the Vi, level 5 is going to be incredibly strong. Even level 3, if the waves are prepped. But I want to pivot a little bit for bot lane, right? DY, super scary, can outplay you, can 2v2. Without the assistance of Cherry here on this Lee Sin, he can make plays for Barry.
Oh, no death sentence, but good play, interrupts the body slam. Methonaut making sure that he is not afraid to go toe-to-toe with DY and Barry, who have already shown such a strength and force to be reckoned with through the playing stage.
This is definitely the right play. You are on a Varus Thresh, which is the most offensive, oppressive bot lane combo, and this is what we're talking about. Cherry Dawn, the first gank.
Leading off the Krugs, already level 3. Acolyte, you got to be careful. If Dawn gets ahead, we've already seen what he can do on the Wukong, but I think Cherry was looking for a prediction flash from Acolyte. The Sonic Wave just goes a little wide, but the damage has been done. Summoner's being blown.
Yeah, really nice. The psychic play!
DY, they knew that the dive was coming, but if they're taking turret shots, they can look for the punish. 2v4, but Team Queso juggling the turret aggro so beautifully, and they can still go for more, but Pan is here. He has come for retribution. A good old flash ignite takes out Joey.
Really nicely done by DY. That could have been sour and easily went south for Team Queso there, but really nicely done. It was 4 people with that dive, and I like this adaptation because before in the play-ins, whenever these WRL teams would gank early level 3 topside, usually there are no exchanges, but a lot of these teams are learning, adapting, and I like this response from Team Queso, trying to gank bot lane. They were able to get Barry's life, but unfortunately it was a 1-for-1 exchange.
Yeah, and one can reason that the game plan for Team Queso was going to be snowballing the Jace, which is why Cherry needed to make sure that he got to the Baron side of the map, shut down Acolyte early, or at least put some pressure on him so he couldn't be so far forward aggressive. But Andres, making the read, making the adaptation, goes for the dive onto the bottom side of the map. It ends up being a 1-for-1, maybe not as clean as you would like, but Team Queso showing that they are ready to fight back against J-Team.
Yeah, that's why DY should be careful. Level 5 already available, so that means it will be a bit harder now to gank in tower dive. But as long as Joey sets up with the poke, Team Queso is going to be fine.
Got about a couple minutes before we head into the objective stage. So for both of these teams, they're still chilling, they're still vibing for the most part. I like the early moves that both Andres and Cherry have gone for. Cherry, for Acolyte, that flash timer is still down. He is past level 5. If he wants to really get Dawn snowballed ahead, he wants to path immediately towards the top side of the map.
And looks like Cherry's gonna do just as that. Gonna take a quick trip here in the mid lane
Oh,
first.
he might look for it. Beautiful kick. Vejos still has flash. Shouldn't go down, but the damage is strong from Pan. But he uses barriers, stays alive. Andres, now in the 1v2, gets a lot of burst damage down. Isn't enough to take down Pan. Pan's very beefy. Cherry goes back in, and he punishes the Spaniard. Gets another one. It's a double for Cherry.
Oh my word, there's more!
The action doesn't stop. This is Wild Rift, baby. You can't take your eyes off the screen. Blink and you just might miss a kill opportunity. J-Team, 3 kills to them.
It is just basically everywhere. We saw Team Queso just making sure that Acolyte is safe. Look at the vision, but Cherry says, okay, if I'm not gonna get a kill anywhere, I'm gonna try in mid lane. I get a double kill, and DY does DY things once more, makes a play, makes an aggressive play, kills Methonaut. Let's take a look at that again. I mean, really nice counter gank, really nice kick coming from Cherry. And this was the correct timing from Andres, right? They couldn't finish off the kill, but the same thing can be said for Team Queso. They didn't have enough damage. That is the worry. Zig's gonna scale later. If that's a Vi, more utility, less on the damage section, so that's the problem.
It's a mismatch too, right?
Yeah.
If you're going up against like a squishy mage, you kill Garen right there as the Vi. But you're going up against the Garen.
Yeah.
The Garen is such a durable fighter. Vejos knows as well. He's like, oh man, that was, or not Vejos, Joey's like, man.
Yeah, that is.
okay.
It's okay. Yeah, it's the early game.
Yeah, you know, I know that's, Joey was definitely representing the European fandom right there. It's like, I imagine Stuart and Hell's on the analyst desk doing the same thing, just leaning back in their chairs like, come on, guys, we can't do that.
That's a pretty accurate impression.
After
think
listening
so.
to Stuart the whole week, it tends to pick up. It's not perfect. He says it's still too posh, mate.
Well, we'll see how the impression goes as the Icons days go by. But, you know, Rift Herald, I like this rotation from Team Queso, right? They know that there's a big importance for J Team's, J Team's Rift Herald. So that's what they're trying to do. They're going to fight 5v5 here. Let's see who wins.
And good thing for Team Queso, they still have their one-item spikes.
Poke them out!
J Team have to be careful. If they take too much poke before they finish down this objective, it's going to be super easy for Team Queso to come in and clean up. They Inferno Bomb comes out from Vejos, gets some poke down, but Cherry secures the Rift Herald. Now, what do they do? Nice kick.
Nice kick.
It doesn't really hit anyone onto the backside, but it punts Acolyte right away from the rest of J Team, and they can be escorted out safely here. Oh, DY. And he says, I don't want to be escorted out. I want to be bouncing them back to the fountain.
Yeah, he's fine. He's definitely fine. I think they canceled out that teleport and bought a little bit of time for them to return to the rift, to the main rift.
Yeah.
But that's a nice charge. Rift Herald just wants to stretch his arms before going further into the mid lane.
What was so cool about DY, I didn't realize it at first, but, you know, I thought he was just trying to be cheeky with the Team Queso, but he was preventing them from getting an access to the mid lane. That Rift Herald gets a charge uncontested. That is guaranteed first brick for J Team. Now they have control to the rest of the map.
And we're seeing a little bit of the issue with the composition that Team Queso has. They have a lot of damage, more damage than J Team, but fight.
Oh, DY all the way from downtown, Protobolt and Flash, but Team Queso, they've got a Vi, a single target lockdown, and it seems like J Team wasn't ready for the boldness there. I like the spice from DY.
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely one of, that's what he does, the instincts. But unfortunately, the rest of J Team quite far away. Cherry looking for a pick here, but the satchel is gonna save Vejos. But that's the thing, the theme for Team Queso's composition is a lot of single target. So if they are able to catch someone off guard, able to catch stragglers, that is how you win this game. Well, aside from poking, Rafa. Aside from poking.
You gotta whittle them down from afar. You don't have any strong committal tools outside of this Vi, but it's only one target. You don't have access to strong AoE CC like a Wukong.
Yeah.
And the fact that Andres is not even building
Triforce.
Yeah, a Triforce. So, you know, we have seen now kind of a split between either Divine Sun. Oh, hey, hold up. Oh no, Methodon thought that he was walking in the safety of his own jungle. But that jungle don't belong to you anymore, no.
Nope, nope, nope. It's a scary jungle out there, definitely, Rafa. And the fact that J-Team didn't even break bot lane tower just yet, and they're commanding that as their territory already, is a very telling sign what the game state is right now. Andres, though, does he want to get Dawn? No.
He was looking for it.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I don't like what you guys did to my support. I'm going to give you a little bit of payback. But J-Team is like, I mean, cool, you can chase me all you want. They get the dragon, they get another tower. Team Queso managed to trade back onto the top side of the map. Yeah, they're falling behind on tempo. This is the efficiency that we have come to be so...
The macro is crazy.
Yeah, I'm searching for the right word because I don't think, like, even admired is not enough. However, DY, what you doing there, bro?
He wanted the blue buff, Rafa. He was interrupted by Vejos and Andres. Oh dear.
You know what? DY taking a scenic route. Team Queso's like, hey, you're not supposed to be here, bro. Where are your friends?
Yeah, go back to your own jungle. This is ours. And I feel like if DY can afford to roam around, have a have a comfortable stroll in the jungle. Well, not as comfortable because he didn't really get the blue buff and he actually died there. But I suppose for J Team now, this is a good state because every time Team Queso is trying to trade elsewhere, J Team takes twice as much as that around the map.
Yeah, it's remarkable that J Team are
Oh,
able.
no.
Oh, hold up now. Joey
Joey.
has been punted right back into the waiting arms of Pan, but Methanot and
Oh,
Andres
my
fully commit and make sure they never leave a
Shut
comrade behind. They trade on to Cherry, and now the gold lead, while still ahead 4,000 gold, Team Queso slowly catching up.
Yeah, honestly, this composition from Team Queso is so good for punish, for over-aggressive plays that we're seeing from J Team right now. Their single target, their funnel damage onto one. Even though I see a Garen right there that's incredibly tanky. Of course, if you single it out, funnel all your damage there, you can kill them. Rift Herald, though, has been already started by Team Queso.
Yeah, Cherry's not here yet. He's beelining it,
Dawn.
but 2,000 HP on the Rift Herald. However,
Oh
rest of J Team, wait, they took out Andres!
my.
And look at that! Dawn says, even if our jungler goes down, I am here to support the cause. I'm here to pick up the remaining pieces. And the rest of J Team, this is, what a team. I just cannot fathom how much admiration, how much respect you gotta have for this squad here.
It's super aggressive. It feels like they're taking so many things off of the map and they do not allow the opposition to take things back and equalize the gold, equalize the map state. And it's so good what Dawn did there. He saw Andres solo.
Oh no, no,
It
no, no,
might
no, no,
happen
no,
again.
no, 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 no!
Oh.
Wait, is this the ultimate? Wait, we might have
Cherry's
underestimated
got-
Cherry
Whoa!
with the two-man kick. Oh my goodness! We thought that Team Queso had the turnaround. Cherry eventually does go down, but he manages to help J Team trade out 2 for 1, buying more time so that Dawn can push on the other side of the map. And it just seems like Riku, every single time that Team Queso might have found the punish,
Yeah.
might have found the winner to get back in this game, J Team still managed to one-up them.
They're just so strong. Look at them go.
Pan just gets to dive free willingly onto the
my
Ziggs.
word.
Host nowhere else to run. Barry locking down Methanot right under the tower. It's only 500 HP, and Dawn gets to do whatever he pleases on the other side of the map. DY is also pushing into... There's pressure everywhere.
I know, and it doesn't matter whether it's from the support. There's another fight once more.
Okay, Andres doesn't have ultimate quite available. Looking
Oh,
for the
DY.
punch. Flashing forward, locking it down. Just one more auto attack would do the trick,
more.
but Andres can't do it. Oh man, and Pan, he's got a giant sword. Demacian Justice just rains
Double
all over the
kill.
rift, and Acolyte shows up, but it's a little too late. The damage has been done. The friends have fallen. The rest of Team Queso are now on the back foot once again.
It's crazy, J Team. Again, going back to what you just said, Rafa, every time we think that they can take things back in the game, J Team just triples their lead even more because Team Queso very busy in the fight. You get 1 kill, J Team gets 2 towers in exchange.
And while we have a moment to breathe, you know, let's try and explain to the fans why this is happening. Like Team Queso, they're so far behind in their main split pusher and Acolyte,
yep.
he can't match up to Pan,
Nope.
he can't match up to Dawn. So the only way that Team Queso can get back at this game is off those picks. You have a great single target ultimate, and that is what Team Queso are trying to do. They're trying to accelerate how fast they can pick off a member and get in, get out. But it's just, the targets that they go for, they're already so durable. Barry on this center is going to be stacking so much health.
Yeah.
Pan is Garen. What else needs to be said?
Yeah, you can't, especially if you're a pole comp. He's just gonna run away, regenerate his HP, and then go back into the fight. It's really difficult if you don't have a powerful execute. Oh no,
Oh no, Vejos. He tried to get the sneaky recall off. He's like, no one will find me here, right? But
No.
J Team are just relentless.
No.
Okay, but Methanot still not going down without a fight. Flashing it with the death sentence. The rest of the fight
Nice.
has erupted into chaos. Barry's traded one back, but Andres is gone. And now you have Dawn on the forefront, on the pursuit. Chasing Joey and Acolyte back into the base, but their eyes are onto the inhibitors. One inhibitor should fall, and the rest of the Nexus will soon come next. J-Team, it may not happen right now, but you see the dominoes starting to line up and getting ready to be knocked down.
Yeah, mid lane already open. This is a very action-packed game so far. Just when you think that you can breathe, take a breather. Nope, J-Team is gonna find another fight, find another pick, and look at the respect that Team Queso has. They have 4 hourglasses just to try and buy time. Because J-Team, is that going to be a steal? That's not, sadly, enough. And
Respectable attempt.
yeah, respectable attempt just to try and get things back. But this is a massive goal lead already. Massive control. 5-2-3 for Cherry. 5-0-4 for Pan, by the way.
They're setting up for another pick here. Oh, but I think DY either saw someone's leg sticking out of the bush there. He's like, hold up. That doesn't look right.
Yeah, that's not right.
Oh, DY!
Woo!
You're so clean with it, brother. Andres forced to flash away, but Cherry is still hunting for the final kill. Looking for the last bit of damage. Dawn with the execute. Wind slash cutting right through Andres' heart. And Methodon has been left to the wolves. Once again, J-Team, they haunted a pack and they are leaving no mercy. No one leaves alive in this jungle.
So strong to the point that people are still fighting while they get Baron.
Oh my goodness, Pan! Pan!
Oh!
Leave him alone!
He just wants to
Pan!
live.
We're already past the play-in stage! We're on the group
my.
stage! You can't just be dominating them this hard!
Wait,
J-Team!
Pan's about to die?
Give him a chance!
We'll see. Because,
Oh my goodness, dude, J-Team, I imagine they're having so much fun.
They are. They
on
look
the
like
stage
they're
right
having
now.
so much fun.
They're 17,000 gold ahead. They're just throwing out skill shots. They're throwing out abilities
They're
and
being
ultimates.
flashy
It's
right
like,
now. Look at Cherry.
I'll get it in 30 seconds. It's no
Yeah.
big deal.
Yeah, like we're just waiting for our teammates to take Baron. We can help buy some time, zone them away so far away from the Baron. I think that's too far. You're just basically locking them in the cage of their own base. And now it's sieging time, baby. TQ, while they do have wave clear, this is a very, very strong lead from J-Team already.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough. Especially the fact that the early game went so well for J-Team right now. And they're getting all the towers, Rafa.
Systematic, efficient, even with a little bit of flair on top of it as well. That is J-Team in a nutshell. Not even feathered by the #1 seed from Europe. J-Team continue their dominance straight out of play-in stage and make their first group stage game win look like a walk in the park.
I know! The way that they're not allowing even exchanges from Team Queso, they're just so good, so smart, from macro to micro. They have everything covered. And again, this is what we're talking about. The WRL region just looks so strong. Take note, what we keep mentioning, Rafa, this is the 5th seed coming from China.
And Team Queso wanted to show us, they wanted to show the world a different flair, a different style for Team Queso. It wasn't the, hey, Andres isn't the person that we're funneling our resources into. We're going to use Andres as a facilitator, someone that is going to get Alkalite ahead, someone to get possibly even Joey ahead on the bottom side of the map. The first set play was diving the bot lane against DY and Barry. Unfortunately for them, they never continued or accelerated that pace. Barry and DY held on. In fact, DY was so calm and confident with it. He's like, I'm going to proto belt body slam flash from like all the way downtown.
I know, it felt like they had the answer. It felt like Team Queso had the answer, like, okay, we can do a different configuration of our team comp. Let's not rely heavily on Andres to carry, but just as you mentioned, be the facilitator. And rely on just trading, for example,
Right.
you know, J Team's going for top side, let's just go bot side. But I felt like DY just played that so well.
Honestly, I want to talk to the desk real quick. I need Mika to give the floor open to Christian and Stuart. Hey, guys.
I mean, Rafa, I wish I could, but these guys don't seem to want to talk right now.
Believe in your boys.
They don't seem to want to talk right now. That's I had to drag them. I had to drag them over here to the desk.
Is poggers, guys. They're like
Very poggers.
They're very poggers. Like
It's poggers for you guys, but for us right now, we're feeling very...
You're very strong.
Mika, I'm gonna leave it up to you.
Can we get them away? I don't want to talk with them anymore.
All right, we'll see you later, guys. But yes, apparently that was very, very clean. But you guys are not too happy about it, else.
I'm not happy about Team Case losing, but I gotta admit, that was very, very impressive by J-Team. Cherry completely out-jungled Andres, and I was praising Andres. He's an incredible jungler, but Cherry made it look like a walk in the park to beat out our best jungler.
Absolutely. You mentioned, Stuart, you kept calling this. You're like, Cherry should not be given Lee
Yeah.
Sin.
He played Lee Sin twice already during the playing stage, and he showed what he can do with Lee Sin. You know, his mechanics, his early game, and what he can do with the invades as well. You can see that there were, at times, Team Queso were just caught in their own jungle. There was nothing really that they could do about it. Cherry was just walking around as well, and you just can't give him Lee Sin. It's one of his most played champions. It's something that he's comfortable with. The bans were a little bit, it just felt like Team Queso were not comfortable playing this Lucian mid or Corki mid, so they're banning that away. They're banning away the Camille as well. So they know they're not comfortable going for these first picks. They go for the Jace instead, which Acolyte had a decent game, but not the carry performance. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. But JT, like you said, played very, very well.
And DY on that support as well. That was incredible. The plays on that Gragas, it felt like he was another carry as well. His CC, him catching out every single one from Team Queso every single time. He did a much better job doing that than Methanaut on that Thresh, because unfortunately Methanaut didn't get as many hooks on that Thresh, and he got caught out a few times, so it really honestly felt like every single one from J-Team just beat every single one from Team Queso.
Yeah, and Hells, you were talking about how J-Team was really just pushing their lead the entire time.
Oh yeah, they didn't give a single chance to Team Queso. I believe they were like 18,000 gold ahead at the end of the game. That's like over 1,000 gold per minute, and to get that much lead, you constantly have to push your advantage. And having a Lee Sin on Cherry, that's exactly what they did. They just played a perfect macro game, perfect micro game as well. They just completely beat out Team Queso.
Stuart, do you see, was there any kind of like a window for Team Queso at one point? Any point during the game?
Not really, to be honest with you. No, there wasn't really. I mean, from start to finish, you can see the Team Queso tried to split the map. They tried to focus on the bot side, trying to get little advantages there. They traded 1-for-1, but then the top side, Acolyte got traded out so much. And I think that was the point of the game as well, that Veos was like 400 gold ahead, 400 gold behind, in the early game, because he was trying to rotate with Andre as well down to the bot side. But meanwhile, in the mid lane, Pan was just able to get so much farm on that Garen, and he got to a point where he's just unkillable, and there's not really much damage that you can do against the tanky Garen.
It's not over for Europe, however. This happened to Team Queso in the EMEA Championship as well, where they got absolutely demolished in the first game in the Grand Finals, but they made a comeback. It's not over yet. Team Queso can still win.
Oh yeah, it can be I always call it like a sacrificial game. It could just be, testing the waters. Okay, let's...
First game on stage as well, yeah.
First game on stage, exactly. So, they might have been prepared to lose this one, but, prepared to come back for the next. They could be gathering information as well. Like, we're not expected to win this, but learn what you can from your opponents.
I'm not joking. I actually talked with LK, and he said, this testing grounds. First game is testing grounds, right? Now, this first game was unfortunately not the best grounds that they were testing out, as they got absolutely demolished, but it's still testing grounds, right? Like now the coach from Team Queso is going to decide, okay, how do I need to draft against this? So I'm expecting very interesting drafting, as in good drafting from Team Queso. This is one thing that they do very, very well. They have a lot of different play styles, a lot of different drafting, so we're going to have to see how LK decides to draft for Team Queso.
Yeah, and Stuart, do you agree with this? What are you expecting for the draft going into game number 2? I know we'll be getting into that in just a bit, but what kind of X factor do you think they'll bring out?
We know with Team Queso in the WREC, they have gone for this support Andre sort of playstyle. In this game, they tried to go for a different sort of playstyle, where you've got the wave clear from Joey and Veos on the Ziggs and the Varus, and they got Andre in this more utility style jungler, the Vi, which he didn't perform too bad on. But we used to see the carry junglers for Andre. In the draft as well, on the first rotation, Team Queso went for Jace, Thresh, and Ziggs. So they didn't really focus on getting the pick for Andre, which means in the second ban phase, J-Team were able to ban out the Kha'Zix, ban out the Olaf as well, which just puts Andre's champion pool lower and lower as well. I like them to try and focus on Andre and try and get Andre on more of a comfort pick in the first rotation of the drafts, so he can, feel a little bit more comfortable. Because there are points in that game where I felt like Andre went a little bit too deep, and sometimes he did, misplay a little bit as well, but like I said, it's J-Team, it's China at the end of the day. Even though they are the 5th seed, it's a really, really big, task.
And the Lee Sin on Cherry also perfectly complements the playstyle they needed against Team Queso, which is pushing their advantage. And here you can see it in the gold graph as well, right? They were pushing their advantage. And when you get ahead with the Lee Sin, when you get ahead with that composition, with Pan on that Garen as well, that's going to become an unkillable Garen. That's going to become a very dangerous Lee Sin. And then you have that Senna as well, who scales into the late game, just perfectly played by J-Team right here. The draft, the game, everything really.
You look at the first rotation
I think
of
we
picks
saw
as well.
how much of a pest, I guess, the Garen became towards the late game, when we saw that nobody could do anything against
20K gold
against the Garen, and we just saw this again from JT, from the WRL teams. they know exactly how to play this game and to win. That's the most important thing, no matter who the opponent is. And as we can see, it was a roller coaster of emotions for you, gentlemen. I believe we have a clip over here
no.
of the two of you. I remember that. Look at this. Oh my gosh! Just exploding.
What should I say? What should I say? Yeah, well.
Oh, okay. That
Queso
We had a
got-
bit of hope at times. There was a little bit of hope.
I just love how animated Hells is. Look at that. Look at that.
Oh,
Thanks, production.
yeah. Great.
I love this. You know, you could be like one of those like reaction memes. It's like every time like somebody wins. Or
There's
loses,
more.
Yeah. There's a whole lot more. Yeah, that's not even half of what they showed. No, definitely. But yes, going now into game number 2. I'm really curious now if you know, Queso is out of the the testing grounds, as you mentioned, House, and if they're now ready to bring out their aces, I guess.
So that's the thing about Queso, right? Like they'll lose the first game by like such a huge margin, but then they'll win the second game. That's Team Queso for you right there. So that was a 20k gold lead though. That's different. So I'm not sure if Queso is going to be able to beat J-Team, because they do have to win 2 games. But if there is a team that will make a comeback like this, it's going to be Queso.
Yeah, I feel like, like you said, in the WRC finals against Rix, they lost the first game, but then they destroyed the next 4,
Next 4.
Yeah, exactly. They won the next 4, but I think Rix is not as good as J-Team.
No,
I think
definitely
J-Team
not.
is like a whole different, breed of beast, really, to be fair. Even though it is the Chinese, 5th seed or 4th seed, however you want to put it as well, you can tell that, the Chinese players are just way above everyone else at the moment in this competition.
And that's a big storyline for Icons. It's like, can anybody actually take down the teams from this region? And it doesn't, right now, the answer doesn't seem like anybody can actually challenge them. But I feel like, for Team Queso, they do have some aces up their sleeve. They do have strengths that they can use against J-Team right now. Entering Champ Select right now. We're hoping that Team Queso can push this to a game number 3, but against J-Team, it's looking a little tricky indeed.
Interesting enough, Team Queso picked the red side now. So they started off on the blue side, but now they're going to be picking over to the red side. So they're not going to have that first pick priority like they did in the first game, but they're going to have the counter pick, and they also get to pick 2 champions instead of 1. So now it's about the priority of the first pick, really. It's about, what J-Team are going to prioritize. And they're going to prioritize the Riven if it doesn't get banned out, the Riven, the Lee Sin, the Senna as well were 3 of the picks that they picked in the first rotation in the first game, which were 3 picks that, came up really strong for them in the first game.
And for Team Queso, I feel like they need that Shen. Acolyte on that Shen. That's one of the strongest compositions that they've ever played, where they put Acolyte on the Shen, he'll win his lane, and he'll constantly teleport to his team when he needs to. Another thing that Team Queso needs to take care of is that Lee Sin, of course, right? Like, do they really want to deal with that Lee Sin again? So let's see what they do. Senna's open, Lee Sin is open. All these big, super strong champions are open right now.
Yeah, so J-Team decided to ban out the Yuumi instead of the Shen this time, so worried about the Yuumi. Obviously, Yuumi opened completely in the first draft, didn't get picked or banned at all. They ban out the Lucian, so Corki is open.
Shen.
Lee Sin is open. Shen is open, Riven is open. I don't think J-Team will first pick Lee Sin. I think they'll prioritize either the Lee Sin, the Riven, or even the Corki as well, because Corki is a big pick in China and a big priority. We haven't seen Veos play Corki that much as well, so maybe they could leave it out because they know that maybe it won't be as strong, but instead they go for the Senna instead.
Yeah,
so,
there it is.
But there's still a lot open though for Team Queso. I feel like Team Queso could definitely go for other picks.
Ooh, I like that.
They go for the Lee Sin themselves and they go for the...
I like that. I
Wow.
like seeing a Lee Sin right there, right? Like, you don't want to be dealing with Cherry on that Lee Sin. That just absolutely destroyed you, Andres. So what does he do? He picks it himself. Although Lee Sin doesn't carry as well into the late game, so Andres is going to have to rely a little bit more on his teammates to carry the later game. But then they got that Corki, where you can flex in the mid lane, flex in the Dragon lane. I like this from Team Queso.
That's a big surprise, to be fair. I'm really surprised that they've done that. I feel like they could have banned it out
Yeah.
instead, and maybe gone for something else.
Oh,
but
it's the opposite now. Now it's the
yeah,
Cherry
this
on the
is-
Jax that's
this
going to be
is-
carrying.
This is looking scary, I feel like, for Team Queso. They need to get an early advantage, and they need to get the tempo with this Lee Sin. As you say, Corki could go into Joey. We've seen Joey have a really, really strong performance on the Corki as well in the WREC. But yeah, it's Senna and Jax, and now the Galio as well over to J-Team. This is another scary company. These are all comfort picks for J-Team.
Yeah, and I feel like, for Team Queso, they do know it. They're scratching their heads a little bit, but we still have a few more champions to draft, and I feel like Team Queso right now, they do need to be able to bring out their A game, their best champions for this. J-Team, though, they seem to be a little bit comfortable, and right now we are seeing the set come in as well.
So this could be a set for Metanaut, or this could be a set for Acolyte. Now again, you know, this is the type of champion that Metanaut loves to play. He loves to play those aggressive champions like the Thresh, like the Zed, like the Rakan, etc, etc. But he could also go on Acolyte. I would personally love to see Acolyte on a champion like the Darius, like the Camille, who's banned, Fiora even perhaps, Shan. Like, these are the types of champions Acolyte really excels at. Team Queso betting out that Ziggs as well. Again, probably leaving out that Nasus. So the question is J-Team gonna pick that Nasus?
I think they have the Galio. I think they're just going to go Galio center.
Galio center.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, there you
think
see the Darius. That's a target meant to Acolyte.
Yeah, Acolyte. I mean, that was one of the highlight reels.
Oh, yeah.
For Acolyte in the Horizon Cup. You know, the 1 versus 2 outplay that he did the Horizon Cup last year. So banning out the a comfort champion for Acolyte. But yeah, I don't think they're going to ban the Nasus because I think it's just going to be Galio center bot lane and then Jax in the jungle. So they're prioritizing the mid lane. You know, the Ziggs, and they're probably going to maybe prioritize maybe another Baron lane champion at the same time.
Ooh.
Oh, they ban out the Shen themselves. Actually, so this could maybe potentially be that because they want the set to go in the Baron lane.
You know what's interesting? J-Team is now banning out Baron laners. It seems like they're not like oh well, Team Queso has Lee Sin already. Well, it seems like the secondary carry is Acolyte for them because they're banning out Darius. That's not a champion that you would ban against every single team. That's a target ban right there. So it's gonna be interesting to see what the last ban is gonna be from J-Team. Are they really gonna be leaving open a lot of picks for the Dragon and mid lane just to ban away Acolyte?
Possibly, but it comes down to the Zed as
Zed.
the last ban. And J-Team right now, I don't know. I think they're looking pretty comfortable right now. I think they sealed it in with the Jax. And Stuart, you heaved a great sigh when you saw the Jax come in. And I think the look on your face right now pretty much seals it. I can see.
I'm not feeling too confident now. I'm not good. But one champion that is open this time is Akali. You know, I mentioned it before the series began. Akali for Veos. It always is going to be Renekton, so a more aggressive style champion for Acolyte, which means that the set will go down to Mephinor, and they're leaving that flex pick for last. You know, the Corki. Would it go into the mid lane? We've seen Joey play it. We haven't seen as much of it on Veos, so I would most likely like to see it on Joey and maybe go for like a more aggressive champion in mid lane. But wow, look at this.
Oh,
like,
look at all those
J-Team
melee
drafts.
champions. How about a Vayne? I know there's no Enchanter, but how about a Vayne right here? There's so many melee champions out there. You need to have a champion that can just shred right through that composition. Orianna as well. These are the types of champions Team Queso needs to pick. Just heavy upfront damage that can shred through these tanky champions.
For sure. There's a lot of muscle on the side of J-Team.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of muscle in there, and Team Queso are going to need a lot of firepower to take that down.
What is it gonna be? It's the
There's the
Akali.
Akali. There it is.
Yeah.
So Joey, yep, so as I predicted, Joey down in the bot lane on that Corki, Veos in the mid lane on that Assassin, on the Akali. He can be a secondary carry for the kit team. He has performed really well. You know, we saw the highlight reel at the start of the series as well against Team Dark in the WREC. So Veos on that Akali is a pick that he's comfortable with. And with Andre as well, I would prioritize going into that mid lane and trying to get Veos that advantage.
So the mood changed immediately once the Akali came in. I think Stuart's feeling a little bit better. Hells is as well. A hint of a smile over here. So I think our Analyst is just a little bit more comfortable. But look at the side of J-Team. All that muscle over there is making me a little uneasy for Team Queso. Rafa, Riku, what do you guys think?
Well, Mika, I think our EMEA experts said it best. Vejos on the Akali is going back to some of his earlier roots, taking up the mantle of an assassin, someone that can make huge plays, no longer sitting on the back lines. If Team Queso want a chance to strike back in this series, it's got to be ways that you take for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. This is a team composition, Vejos now and Akali, that is able to play make for himself and finish off the kill. We talked about the execution, finishing off targets, lacking in game number 1. Now they have a lot of burst damage, and that's going to come a lot from Vejos.
For the other side of J-Team as well, a big shift in priority of who is getting what type of scaling resources and who is going to be online early. J-Team here, it is arguable that a lot of these fighters here, either they can play even and just wait for item power spikes to come online, or they can have conditional skirmishes, conditional scraps, and it's all about can you layer the CC on top of each other.
And I think it's highly possible, right? J-Team having a lot of CC, you've got the roots, you've got the punch, and as well as the taunts coming from DY. So it can be very scary for Team Queso if they layer all their CC, especially the fact that these are potential answers to potential outplay that Vejos, Andres, and Acolyte are going to be looking forward to.
Let's hyper-focus for a second, because you were talking about as the draft was going on, you told me, Rafa, I'm looking at Andres and Acolyte once again.
Oh,
they didn't get a chance to really snowball that top side of the map. It was Cherry that got to Acolyte first, put him slightly behind in terms of pressure, but Andres, early as level 2, red into Raptors, goes for the mid lane gank, and now from here, will Andres pivot towards back to the top side, try to snowball this Renekton? The answer is, looks like it.
Yeah, all our eyes should be on Andres, going to Vejos, going to Acolyte, because this is a classic, strong red side pick with a Lee Sin on Renekton. We've seen it back at year 0, and this is a Garen, by the way, a little bit harder to kill, but early game pretty squishy.
Okay, well, Acolyte's got him below 50% HP, but the rest of J-Team, that is the scary part here for Team Queso, because all 4 of them have shown up to the top side of the map. Even DY is slowly making himself up, so it could be a 5-on-4. Flash comes out, Andres tries to secure the Scuttle Crab. They get the crab, but at what cost? It is Barry that comes up huge for first blood. Another one over to Dawn, or Pan as well. And Andres, he goes down.
Yeah, it all started with Pan's triple knock-up onto Team Queso, right? Everybody was all clumped together. And the reason why is that, guess what? It's a quadra melee composition from the side of Team Queso. So if they're positioned like that, look at that triple knock-up, amazing setup by Pan, and the rest of the finish will come from Cherry.
And it's exactly what we talked about for J-Team. Yes, Team Queso have on paper some of the better early game skirmishing potential, but it's all about conditional CC, and Team Queso happen to all group up with each other. So of course, Pan can easily line up that Broken Wings third cast for the triple knock-up, and Team Queso now, it is not lights out, but being slowed down, being decelerated, but the composition that they have makes it far more difficult for them to come back around and get a play against J-Team.
Exactly right. The reason why they picked up the Lee Sin, the reason why they picked up Acolytes for Renekton is mainly for that big early game, the level 3 skirmishes, the level 5 skirmishes, and so far J-Team has won on that end 2-1. The exchange, perhaps a little bit of good news for Andres, though. He's able to get 1 kill off of that. So at least they're on track for him.
Oh, Joey and Methanot, they perhaps have found Barry, forcing him out. A lot of damage with that Haymaker. Barry gets out alive, though, thanks to the efforts of DY, making sure that his Dragon Leader doesn't go down too quickly.
Yeah, really nice body blocking done by DY. Getting the taunt in, making sure the rockets don't hit Barry in the face. And going back to the dynamic of topside, right? We keep talking about Andres and Acolyte, and I think the difference is now is that Pan is on the Riven this time around, so harder to execute the top jungle duo going towards topside, because John is going to be very tanky. He's just going to silence you and run away, so most likely Team Queso has to rotate Methanot. It has to be a 3-man gang. 2 people ain't enough.
I'm very positive that J-Team obviously chose the Garen and Riven for strategic reasons, swapping them around. But I also kind of want to low-key believe that Pan and Don said, hey, did you have fun with Garen? Yeah. Well, you know, I'm Garen, you know. I just run in and I silence them, right? Did you have fun on the Riven? Oh, dude, I had a blast. You want to swap? You want to trade? Yeah, let's do it.
I can totally imagine that conversation. Like, okay, I had so much fun. It's my turn now to play the Riven. You're going to silence people this time. It's a trade. It's a trade. Works out for Cherry because he just wants to farm, not gank these lanes. Obviously, Rift Herald is still a big priority for J-Team here. The WRL in general. This is their breakfast when it comes to every single Wild Rift game that we've seen in the Icons.
Yeah, big condition here for Team Queso. They have the Corki, and always you have to play with caution around that package. Team Queso are going to have the upper hand when it comes to being the first ones into the pit, being the ones that have control of the objective, but Team Queso, they're taking their time with it. They're overloading, making sure this wave gets pushed in so that J-Team have less time to be able to react. Oh, don't tell me this is actually a fight. Okay. Oh, Methanot punts him right back in with a show stomper, trying to get that suplex in. Package from Joey. Punishes and capitalizes off of Cherry, but in the end, J-Team are able to fire back.
That's the 1-for-1 exchange. Wait. Oh, that was a little bit worrisome. I saw Barry Wait, are they gonna cancel this?
Oh, they don't want them to leave here, Riku. And already one of them got the recall off, but for the rest of them, oh, buried! He's got so much range on the sun, it's so early! J-Team, you cannot let them get ahead this far and early. If you get caught out, if you give them a mistake that they can punish, they won't give it up easily.
No, every single opportunity they will take. If they see that they can kill you, they will kill you. They are out for blood, and it doesn't matter if J-Team is gonna draft late game champions. If they can do it early, they will do it early.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what type of champions at that point. If they see you overextended, oh, they're gonna punish. And they have the confidence to always go in, to always push their limits. That is the thing you have to be concerned about when playing against J-Team. And if the play-in stage wasn't evident enough here, Riku, we can go back to their WRL season where, yes, technically by the end, J-Team ended up being up the 5th seed, but WRL fans remember that they were the first in their regular season, and now Team Queso, they're the ones that are trying to answer back against this behemoth, this absolute powerhouse.
Exactly. Their performance at the regular season, at the early stages of the WRL, has been dominant. A lot of top 2s, a lot of top 1s. Now it's a fight.
Man, Andres is trying so hard. He already went for a Dragon's Rage play. It didn't result in a kill. Go in back in again. Nothing is happening. J-Team just don't manage to go down. They are able to use every single last breath. Finally, Vejos finds one straggler in the pan, but Vesos at the cost of his own life as well. J-Team answering always back, trading always up. This is J-Team at peak form.
What a scary team. J-Team right now, they can even get more if they're extra aggressive if they feel confident with this one.
Team Queso just finding whatever avenues they can look to get back. And it's so difficult for them because you look at the remainder of champions they have that can potentially scale.
Yep.
But is it going to match up against Riven, Jackson, Senna? I don't think so.
It's really difficult, right? Like even Vejos, at the later stages of the game, you cannot. Because Donk is just going to silence you, and you can't do anything with your combo. Later on, Twin Shadows is going to get bought, and they're going to find Vejos time and time again. Flat!
Where'd he go?
Over there! And the brush thing in the river. Now you see me? Now you don't.
Methanol trying to get in their heads. He's like, boom,
boom.
I don't even need my flash.
Surprise.
Hey, you know what? You got to pull out whatever mental strategy you need at this point. Down almost 6,000 gold against J-Team. The package is there. They've already routed off Pan. This is looking good for Team Queso. Andres manages to stay alive thanks to a quick smite over to the Rift Herald. They secure that objective as well on the back end. Team Queso maybe finding a way to get back in, but you've got to be concerned about the split pushing from this Jax.
We'll have to see if Team Queso is able to get 2 charges with the second tier tower, because I think that's what's going to trade this here, but never mind, they're going to get another fight.
Oh, and the Justice Punch flash connects from DY. He never misses on those. Joey left in a 1v2, but if the double exhaust comes out, the damage is diminished. Here comes reinforcements. Method on Acolyte. Perhaps might have saved the day. Joey gets out alive, and Team Queso able to salvage something out of a very, very hard situation right now for Team Queso.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Team Queso is able to get an exchange off of that, but that bottom lane take from Cherry, that's gotta hurt. That's gotta hurt their pockets for sure, because look at how much gold Cherry has right now in his Eternal. 8,000 gold versus the rest. The only one close to him is Acolyte, just because he's able to get an exchange kill and is able to get revenge at topside.
And it just seems like Team Queso, you can tell that they are pushing themselves.
Yes.
They are trying everything. They're going for surprise ganks. They're looking for the most mechanically intensive plays. Andres with that Dragon's Rage insect that we saw just a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah.
And it didn't even result in a kill for them. J-Team are just able to manage to get out scot-free. This is what happens when a team like Team Queso, who is able to come out clutch, be the #1 team in their region, and they face off against someone like J-Team, who has competed with extremely difficult opponents. They have been weathered, they have been trained for this, and Team Queso, and they've been at the Horizon Cup. They faced an opponent like this in Thunder Talk Gaming last time, but it seems like J-Team are just as strong.
Yeah, they're finding these opportunities right now, right?
Oh, Joey! He thought that that was the play to make the pick off, but he Valkyries right into 4 people who are waiting in the bush, waiting to pounce. J-Team taking no prisoners. Good old flash from Cherry, landing the counter-strike, unfortunately for Andres. He was looking for a Raptor to make his way off of with the Sonic Wave. No way out. And Team Queso, I think at this point, Riku, it is just J-Team doing a formality, taking one turret after another until they close out the game.
Yeah, this is a huge lead already from J-Team. And, you know, Team Queso, they try to set up a flank, they try to make a play, but unfortunately, the information wasn't there. J-Team has full control over their jungle right now, scattered with vision, scattered by human wards, and it's so difficult to make plays if you don't know where to go.
And before we go back and do a little history with J-Team, just props to Team Queso. We go back to our Coca-Cola pop-off. They have the boldness. They have the guts to go for these plays. Even down 6,000, 7,000 gold.
It's a lot.
I'd rather see a team throw everything, give their hearts out to the Rift, and not have any regrets later, because those are the moments that you can potentially find an opportunity. But it is J-Team that are always one step ahead, one play ahead against the rest of Team Queso. And Vejos is trying to get into the back line right now. This perfect execution, but he's among 4 people.
Vejos!
Flash into the wall. He's not getting out. It is Dawn that silences him. It looks like Vejos actually managed to get out. All right. I see you, Vejos. That's a small W.
Okay,
we take those.
He's fine, but the tower is not.
You take those in those situations. This is a tough game to play out.
They're doing something there over there. The one big 1v1, the hide and seek.
Dawn is just trying to delay the backs right now. It doesn't find him. Vejos says, I gotta.
Oh,
no! Vejos has been found out.
Oh, he's hiding in the shroud. Part 2 of this hide and seek.
Where are you?
Oh, there he is.
Oh, he's out over the wall.
Oh. He has a lot of energy. He has a lot of energy.
You know,
Honey fruit is the goal.
Oh, no!
Hey! No.
Barry's like, enough of that. Stop it. You're done.
That was a long chase. But tower's still not fallen in the mid lane at least. Team Queso though trying to crawl back with map control by destroying the top lane tower. Dawn is still there, but the collapse is going to be very dangerous for them though.
Dude, when you're scared of just a Senna by itself, I mean, yeah, you got the Gallia was coming up as well, but the Senna just walking up at this stage in the game, you know, things are rough out here.
Yeah, I mean, Veos was trying to complete a lap. I mean, I feel like that honey fruit was the goal.
True.
And then you continue back to your base.
You know, it was Vejo saying, man, I haven't really seen the other side of the rift for like the past 6 minutes. I wonder what it's like. Hey.
Yeah.
Did you guys put in a new lawn chair? Oh, this looks great.
A new barbecue grill?
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Wow, J-Team, the interior decorating is fantastic over here.
Good job,
It's been such a long time since I've been on the other side of the rift. I felt like you guys have been over at our place for so long.
That's true. Veos was like, I'm gonna go home now, by the way. Thank you for having me. And Dawn's like, no, stay, please.
Well, it was until Barry said, yeah, you're going home.
Yeah.
But I'm kicking you out.
Yeah. Oh, wait, what a way.
It's okay. Vejos overextended his welcome. And the rest of J-Team, this is a team that when we came into the play-in stage, yes, by the time we got to the last chance qualifier, they were technically the 5th seed, lost out to OMG in a 3-2. But they were the #1 team in the regular season of WRL. They took a game off of Fun Plus Phoenix in playoffs, and you can see that strength demonstrated in this match against Team Queso, where they are systematically taking out members one by one. Team Queso left no room to breathe whatsoever, and even as one member may look to fall, the rest of the team corrals around and protects them like their brothers, like their brethren. This is a team that stands strong as 5.
I cannot believe no one died in that series of exchange, Rafa. Team Queso, on the other hand, had to sacrifice 3 lives out of that exchange over there, and they finally get the tower, so now J-Team We'll have to see if they're going to head straight to the Baron. It all started through here. A double stun. And just really nice setup from Methonaut, but unfortunately the damage is not there because, again, early game just went so hard for J-Team.
Yeah, and you see these moments from Team Queso where if the stats were similar, if there wasn't a 14,000 gold lead, you know, the moves are nice. Moments like this where Andres is threading the needle on the Sonic Wave onto priority targets, finding a 2-3 man kick into the back line. These are all great mechanical attempts.
For sure.
It's just too late.
It's too much, too late. Dawn, though, gonna walk inside this Death Rush.
You know what, let's see if Dawn actually is threatened by this. Face checks 3 people. Last time that Team Queso had someone face check 3 or 4 people, they got instantly evaporated. Dawn?
Yeah.
How much damage did he take?
I don't even know. He's a Garen. He has Guardian Angel, by the way. He has so much. The fact that he was spinning forward meant that he has no fear at all.
It's
just understandable.
Yeah, it's just absolutely tough. Now, Team Queso, the one miracle play is if you can get into the Baron somehow, some way, and steal the Baron away. But DY doing a great job of preventing anyone from Team Queso from getting in there. 2-man kick. Andres sailing on in, giving his last chance, his last breath, last efforts to try and turn something around. Team Queso on their last legs, trying to give their last stand against J-Team. But J-Team, once again, not dropping a single teammate at all. A dominant and outstanding performance on the international stage. J-Team from play-in stage continues their undefeated streak.
Oh yeah, from play-ins up until now, groups, they are looking fine. They're looking clean. They're looking confident. Everything so far. And we've talked about this before prior to this series, Rafa. Still, we don't know their weakness, and so far they're really strong in their defense and their offense. Everything is so great for this team.
Just a big example of how good this team is. They took the scaling composition. They went toe-to-toe with Team Queso in a early skirmish favored setup with the Lee Sin, the Renekton. They even had the support roam up early on as well. But it's just J-Team's intelligent decision-making and decisive shot calling to call in the moment, hey, this is how we want a team fight. Look, they're all grouped up. Commit. And the fact that you can do that with such conditional, such hard-to-execute styles, that is just displaying the power of J-Team. And I wonder if this is a redemption arc for J-Team. I know it's hard to view it as that way. It's like they're completely dominating. What is there to redeem? Remember, #1 in the regular season of the WRL, just to fall as the 5th seed by the time the playoffs, because they were technically tied for top 3, top 4 when they were in the bracket against FPX. But now J-Team return to form, maybe they can compete with the tournament favorites in FPX, JDG, and Nova. We're going to see how well their run continues as we join Mika, Stewart, and Hells. Mika, are you consoling the boys yet? Are they doing okay?
Are they okay?
It's been pretty rough, and again had to drag them over here to the analyst desk, and
oh man,
I think this pretty much says it all. Are you guys okay?
Not really, no.
It's just.
No, I'm not okay. I couldn't watch the last 5 minutes of that. I'm not gonna.
Yes, Stuart. I'm gonna tell you guys. Stuart just literally was like, "Oh no," and he just went here and he just sat in silence, sadly by himself. It was a Stuart.
It's a tough day.
Yeah, it is a tough day.
I think this game really shows still how long Europe has to come as a region, you know, compared to the Eastern regions. And you know, for a team like Team Queso coming in as the 1st seed as well, you know, we spoke about them before the series, you know, kind of playing like with confidence on stage and everything. But J-Team and China are just, you know, something completely different. And I think that they have to go back now. They have to go back to the drawing board because, as you saw in the bracket, you know, they only got a few days and they have to try and beat Sengoku Gaming, which, if people remember the Rising Cup last year, Sengoku Gaming were the ones who knocked out Team Queso before. So let's just hope that doesn't happen again for us in Europe.
It's a coming grudge match.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they've put themselves in a rough spot right now because
Yeah.
Queso has to win, I believe, like 2 series in a row.
Yep.
And if they lose a single series, they're out. And taking a defeat like this hurts, right? Like against the 4th seed of China, you can see it. They are hurt. They did not expect to lose this hard, right? Like they're the best in Europe, and they just lost against the 4th in China. It indeed, as Stuart mentioned, shows the massive difference between the regions. But they have time, right? Like they have time to look back, take some notes, and come back stronger. They can still make it. It's gonna be hard, but they gotta change up their game.
Exactly. We have seen the teams from NA and EU come back stronger, with succeeding games. Maybe not have made such a big impact on their first day, but then in days 2 and days 3, they actually have. I'm giving you guys hope. I'm here on your side.
Yeah, and Queso is
Yeah.
one of those teams that does that. But again, this was different. This was different. They didn't get defeated. They got embarrassed, I would even say. Like those were like what 15-minute games with 20k gold leads. It was crazy.
You mentioned, Hells, how J Team, they do know how to trade. So you feel like they never actually
Oh, I love
lost.
this point. Yeah, I love this point because like every time Queso would get a Rift Herald or a third, me and Stuart were like cheering like crazy. But then you'd see Cherry pretty much ending the game on the opposite side of the map. Queso takes a turret, yay, they took a turret, but no, J-Team takes something else. They got a dragon or they got kills. J-Team will always get something, and they've done this in every single game, and they showed it in this game as well. They will always get something in return.
I feel like, going back to the draft quickly as well, Team Queso tried to go for this more aggressive style in the early game, taking away the Lee Sin, taking away the Corki as well. And then Andre you just can't really do anything against, Cherry. I think like even Cherry on this Jax, the early game skirmish that we saw in the top side of the map around the Scuttle Crab, they still won a 3 versus 3 fight, even in the top side, even if you have the early game comp with the Renekton, with the Lee Sin, it just shows that, it doesn't really matter what you pick against these Chinese teams, they're still going to come out on top.
And you know what's funny? Andres was actually behind by what, like 7k gold? So we can see here, this was a 13k gold lead. I believe 6 or 7k of that was in the jungle only.
And that's why, of course, you guys were hyping up Andres to me and everything, but that's why I feel like...
And everything.
And everything as well, of course. But that's why I feel like Team Queso really do need to... they kind of like need to rethink their identity, I guess, coming into this. Because like while that strategy may have worked in the EU region, does it work here on the Icon stage? It's a valid question.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. I mean, I was talking to, Veos very, very briefly as well, and they were saying, they could maybe go for this sort of like Andre carry sort of thing in the EU region, but when it comes to a world stage, you have to adapt to the meta. You have to change your identity. You have to make sure that you're playing champions and you're playing a meta that suits the Icon stage, that suits the world stage, because you can't just be this one-dimensional team. You can't just go into it saying, let Andre be the carry, play 4 supports and focus on that, because sometimes it's not going to work, and they tried something different today. They tried Andre on the Vi and the Lee Sin, but it just didn't work out.
This was a reality check, right? Like this was a reality check. It just doesn't work. You can't just go in with your standard strategies right there. This is a whole different level of gameplay. These are different regions with crazy strong teams. You have to completely change your strategy. You have to up your game, and you gotta get to their levels.
Yeah.
Exactly, and right now it seems like, of course, the WRL teams are the barometer. Like how well you perform against them determines actually, of your standing, I guess, in the leaderboards. J Team, of course, being the 4th seed, but that is that is nothing against them because they are very, very strong indeed. We'll hear, though, from the other side because we do have D-Gun standing by with your boy, Joey.
Hello, thank you very much, Mika. I'm joined by Dragon Laner of Team Queso. It's Joey Skaggs. Joey, welcome to Icons. This is the first time we got to see Team Queso. Unfortunately, ran into a J team that was quite informed. What was that last series like for you?
It was interesting. I think last time in the WREC, when we came on stage first time, we didn't perform great either. I think we might need a bit more time. J Team was already in the playing stage, so maybe they were way better warmed up and prepared for this match.
Yeah, well,
and so
I wanted to dive into the first draft because I thought it was creative that you guys took the Ziggs early. Then we had talked about where it's going to go, and Varus was also a good option. Then you pick the Varus, you flex it, and then you close out with the Vi. What was the strategy, the team strategy going on that one?
Well, I think game 1 we want to come out swinging. Like we didn't want to leave anything behind, and basically we want to get a lot of strong lanes that can get prio and try to look for early aggression. So yeah, it didn't work out. You make one bad play with that composition, and it gets, in my opinion, quite hard to play.
Sure.
Because you're always on the ropes. You have a lot of squishies.
Yeah.
I think we could have played a 100% way better, but yeah.
Well, that's
yeah.
good. That's
Yeah,
optimistic, right? It's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
like, hey, that was unplayable.
We could have played way better. Yeah, for sure, 100%.
You've seen how EU has performed so far. How do you want EU to be remembered here at this tournament? Obviously, you still have another opportunity against Sengoku
Yeah.
Gaming.
Well, I think our goal right now is just to make it out of groups.
Yeah.
I think we came in a bit late to the tournament because we were coming late, yeah. So we didn't have as much time as other teams to now prep. Now we're just trying to get as many games as possible in and just basically just win the next 2 games, get as much time as possible to improve with the great scrims that we have here, and then just show our best out of the group stage in the quarterfinals.
Joey, final shout-outs as we close this one out.
Just thank you for everyone supporting us. It's been up and down this year. We've shown that we're able to come back, so just keep believing in us, and I hope we won't let you down.
Joey Skaggs, everyone here for Team Queso has the opportunity against Sengoku Gaming in that elimination match later on in this week. Best of luck, brother.
Thank you, man.
Back to you, Mika.
See, I think it's kind of optimistic that even they know that they didn't play at their best, so they could bring out their best next time. Do you find that reassuring, Stuart?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, I completely agree with what he said. I mean, the first time they played at LAN in the WREC finals, they did lose to Rix, and then they did beat them again in the finals. So, you know, a little bit more practice, maybe some more scrims, some more practice as well. And when they come back in the next couple of days against Sengoku Gaming, they can maybe take them out.
That's right, and we are going to come back as well. We're going to take a quick break, but when we return, it is our final match of the day. The #1 ranked Omega versus Buriram United Icons 2022 continues right after this.